Jeff Turner, a complex figure of the American frontier. Jeff Turner, often referred to as the Indian hater, is a controversial figure whose life reflects the turbulent and violent realities of the American frontier in the 19th century. His story, rooted in the context of westward expansion and settler-native conflicts, offers a stark perspective on how personal tragedy and the relentless hardships of frontier life could forge a path of vengeance. Turner's life and actions are a reminder of the deeply rooted cycles of violence that accompanied the settlement of Texas and other Western territories during this era. Humble beginnings in Kentucky. Jeff Turner was born in early 19th century Kentucky, a state characterized by its rugged beauty and the challenges of frontier living. Kentucky during this period was a land of opportunity for settlers, who relied on farming, hunting, and self-sufficiency to build lives in a region still transitioning from wilderness to settlement. Turner, like many of his contemporaries, grew up learning the skills necessary to thrive in this demanding environment. He developed a connection to the land and honed his abilities as a farmer and hunter, skills that would later play a significant role in his survival on the frontier. Turner married a compassionate and resilient woman, with whom he shared aspirations of building a stable and peaceful life. Together, they worked diligently on their small farm near Beech Fork, creating a modest but promising existence for their family, which included 3 young sons. Their farm became a testament to perseverance, representing the hopes of many settlers seeking to carve out a future in the untamed landscape of early America. The call of Texas. As the Turner family toiled in Kentucky, tales of Texas began to reach their community. The vast open plains of Texas were described as a land of untapped potential, where fertile soil and expansive opportunities awaited those brave enough to endure its challenges. These stories ignited the imaginations of many, including Turner, who saw Texas as a place where dreams of prosperity could become a reality. However, this promise came at a cost, as the region was also marked by violence, conflict, and the dispossession of indigenous peoples. Historical context. The narrative of Jeff Turner's life must be understood within the broader historical context of the American frontier. During this period, settlers often came into violent conflict with Native American tribes defending their ancestral lands. While Turner's motivations and actions might be interpreted through the lens of personal loss and vengeance, they also reflect the systemic violence and displacement that defined westward expansion. His transformation from a farmer to a figure of retribution underscores the tragic intersections of personal grief and historical injustice. A new beginning in Texas. Despite his wife's reservations about the dangers of moving to the frontier, particularly the ongoing conflicts with Native American tribes, Jeff Turner was captivated by the promise of Texas. The vision of a land where his sons could grow strong and free fueled his determination. By 1835, Turner made the pivotal decision to sell his Kentucky farm, pack up his belongings, and embark with his family on the arduous journey to the Texas frontier. Settling near the Guadalupe River, the Turners established their new home near the Guadalupe River in South Texas, a region of breathtaking beauty but significant challenges. Frontier life was unforgiving, requiring immense effort to build even the most basic homestead. The Turners constructed a modest cabin and began cultivating the land, working tirelessly as a family to establish a foothold in this untamed environment. For several years, the Turners seemed to thrive, finding solace and joy in their simple life despite the ever-present challenges of frontier living. The shadow of conflict, however, the peace of the frontier was tenuous. The Comanche, renowned as the lords of the plains, were fiercely protective of their ancestral lands. As settlers pushed further into their territory, clashes became inevitable. The Comanche were not only skilled warriors, but also masterful tacticians, known for their exceptional horsemanship and the ability to strike swiftly and decisively. For settlers like the Turners, the possibility of a raid was a constant threat that demanded vigilance and preparation. Turner, like many settlers, initially believed that coexistence with the dangers of the frontier was possible. He fortified his cabin, trained his sons in self-defense, and sought to adapt to the realities of life on contested land. While some settlers chose to retreat to safer areas, the Turners remained steadfast, determined to make their new life a success despite the risks. The day of tragedy on a warm morning in May 1840, Jeff Turner left his cabin to hunt in the nearby woods, unaware that this day would irrevocably change the course of his life. What unfolded next was a tragedy that would not only shatter the Turner family, but also mark a turning point in Jeff Turner's life, driving him down a path of profound transformation and vengeance. The day of tragedy, the air was still that morning, filled only with the rustling of leaves and the distant chirping of birds, a deceptive calm that belied the tragedy about to unfold. Jeff Turner, unaware of the impending danger, had ventured into the woods to hunt, leaving his family at the cabin. When he returned hours later, the scene before him was one of unimaginable devastation. Smoke rose from the smoldering ruins of his cabin, its charred remains a grim testament to the violence that had taken place. Inside, he found the lifeless forms of his wife and youngest son. His wife had died clutching their child in a desperate, yet futile, attempt to shield him from harm. Outside, near the creek, lay the bodies of his two older sons, bearing the brutal signs of a struggle they could not win. Turner's anguished cries echoed through the empty wilderness, a sound of grief and despair that no one would hear. The Comanche raiders responsible for the attack had vanished, retreating into the vast wilderness with stolen goods and the blood of the Turner family on their hands. This was not an isolated incident, but part of a larger pattern of violence fueled by the ongoing conflict between settlers and native tribes over land and survival. A path of vengeance in that moment of profound loss. Jeff Turner changed forever. The loving husband and devoted father was replaced by a man consumed by grief and an unquenchable desire for revenge. He immediately set out to track the raiders, armed with his rifle and fueled by rage. His pursuit was relentless, navigating through the dense wilderness with the tracking skills he had perfected over years of hunting. Turner eventually caught up to the raiders and engaged them in a chaotic skirmish. Fueled by desperation, he managed to kill several attackers, but was severely wounded in the process. Left bruised and bleeding, Turner awoke alone in the wilderness, his body battered and his spirit burdened with the crushing weight of his loss. Becoming an Avenger from that day forward, Jeff Turner abandoned his homestead and the life he had once cherished. He became a solitary figure, wandering the frontier as a self-proclaimed Avenger. His name spread among settlers as both a legend and a cautionary tale. The skills he had once used to provide for his family were now channeled into an unrelenting pursuit of those he held responsible for the suffering of settlers like himself. Turner's life became one of singular purpose. He hunted not for sustenance or sport, but to exact what he saw as justice for his family and others who had suffered at the hands of raiders. While some saw him as a hero, others viewed him as a tragic figure, embodying the cycle of violence that plagued the American frontier during this era of expansion and displacement. The dark path of vengeance. Jeff Turner's targets were often Native American raiders, but his actions became increasingly indiscriminate, driven more by hatred and grief than any sense of justice. To many settlers, Turner was both a hero and a cautionary figure. His bravery and unyielding tenacity inspired admiration. Yet the darkness that consumed him also instilled fear. Stories of his exploits spread quickly, blending truth with legend. Some claimed he had killed dozens of Comanche warriors, while others marveled at his seemingly supernatural ability to track enemies through inhospitable terrain. Encounters with Bigfoot. Wallace Turner's journey eventually brought him into contact with William Bigfoot Wallace, a legendary Texas Ranger known for his towering stature and fearless demeanor. Wallace, like Turner, had experienced profound personal loss, which had drawn him to the rugged frontier life. The two men formed a bond rooted in shared experiences of grief and a common goal: to protect settlers from the constant threat of raids. Together, Turner and Wallace participated in campaigns against Native American raiders. Turner's exceptional tracking skills proved invaluable, helping the Rangers locate hidden camps and execute ambushes. Yet, even Wallace, renowned for his toughness, expressed unease about Turner's unrelenting hatred. To Wallace, Turner's actions seemed less about the defense of settlers and more about the consuming vengeance of a man unable to heal from his past. The complex legacy of Jeff Turner's life and actions present a complex narrative that forces reflection on themes of justice, revenge, and the psychological toll of frontier life. Was Turner a hero, avenging the wrongs inflicted on settlers, or a tragic figure, consumed by hatred and grief? His story encapsulates the cycles of violence that define the American frontier, where personal tragedies often led to endless retaliation, perpetuating the bloodshed. By the time of his death, Turner had become a figure of legend. To many settlers, his name symbolized resistance against the relentless dangers of the wilderness. To others, he represented the destructive consequences of grief left unchecked. A man whose humanity had been eroded, leaving behind a legacy etched in violence and sorrow. Reflection on the frontier experience. Jeff Turner's story is not merely about one man's quest for vengeance. It is a reflection of the broader struggles and sacrifices of the American frontier. Settlers ventured into the wilderness with dreams of prosperity and freedom, but these dreams often came at a steep cost. The challenges of survival in an untamed land brought out both the best and the worst in people, as the harsh realities of frontier life forced them to navigate unimaginable dangers and losses. For many, like Turner, the price of those dreams was paid in blood. His story serves as both a testament to the resilience of those who dared to settle the frontier and a cautionary tale of how unchecked grief and violence can erode the very humanity settlers sought to preserve. A testament to loss and vengeance as the flames of his campfire flickered in the dark Texas night. Jeff Turner sat alone, the faces of his wife and children etched into his memory. Their laughter, once a source of comfort and joy, had become a haunting reminder of the life he had lost. No matter how far he roamed or how many tracks he followed, Turner could not escape the shadows of his grief. In his relentless quest for vengeance, Turner became a man transformed, unrecognizable even to himself. His legacy, much like the frontier he called home, is a paradoxical blend of triumph and tragedy. It is a story of resilience born from unimaginable loss, but also a cautionary tale about the corrosive power of hatred and revenge. Jeff Turner's life stands as a testament to the personal and communal costs of vengeance. It underscores the enduring scars left by loss, not just on an individual but on the fabric of frontier society itself. His tale, though steeped in sorrow and bloodshed, reflects the complex realities of life on the American frontier, a place where dreams of peace and prosperity often collided with violence and hardship. In the end, Jeff Turner's story is more than a tale of one man's tragic downfall. It is a mirror of the human spirit's capacity for both resilience and fragility, a narrative shaped by the harsh land and unforgiving times in which he lived. His life remains a powerful chapter in the history of the frontier, a stark reminder of the profound cost of survival and the enduring impact of grief.